Welcome to the donut. Oh, wait, am I the only one who sees donut everywhere? Because I do see the donut everywhere. It keeps coming back to my life. And I am Madame Donut. And it's real. It is really my name. Well, I wasn't born Madame Donut. My mother wasn't cruel to call me that and risk having me teased by all the other kids in a small village in the Philippines. I became officially Madame Donut fairly recently. Um, on a Thursday, let me just make sure I'm on the right page just in case. On a Thursday, before that fateful Monday that we were all shut down because of the pandemic in 2020, I got divorced. And by the way, this is the first time I'm talking about my divorce in public. Um, huh. It was around the time that most of us felt alone, and I felt more alone, and I was so afraid. I lost my business. Everything that I am for 15 years was gone. And then the pandemic required us to hide from everybody. I don't know why I'm tearful right now thinking about it, because I was fine when I was writing this. It was during that dark time, though, that I found myself. Prior to that, about 10 years ago, I started my donut business, Donut Dynamite. It was about 10 years ago. And I was one of those chefs who thought that my food will sell itself. I didn't need to talk to anybody. I'll stay in the back of the house. But if you have a food trailer the size of basically no more than 5 by 10, and you don't have a front of the house, you talk to people. And you may not believe it now, but I used to hide from people. I wouldn't say I was shy, but I didn't like talking to people. But I had to because I was selling donuts, right? And so I thought, well, I coined Madame Donut because I thought that was my disguise. No one will know who I am. But then it kind of actually gave me the opposite effect, and people remembered me more. And of course, the very colorful hair. People never forgot who I was. And before you know it, I had kids in a grocery store calling me, "Hey, Auntie Donut." And I was like, oh my God, like I'm famous for the donuts. Like, this is crazy. So anyways, that started becoming my identity. Right, I'm not from Maui. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and it was about a year and a half when I was living in Maui when I opened my business. But one thing I remembered was that when I first moved here, somebody told me that Maui either embraces you or spits you right out. And I've seen so many people who've moved here in no more than 2 years, they're out. So for some reason, they're not welcome here. And I can't quite explain why, but Maui embraced me. And so being Madame Donut, being embraced, felt like it was taken away from me when my business had to close. So anyways, I'm really a workaholic, so I was really antsy to get back to work. And I had $200. It wasn't enough to buy all the butter and the eggs that I needed to make my brioche donuts. So I thought, why not hire a local printer and get some logo hats made and raise some money? And so I did. I hired a local printer because around that time we started talking about, well, we're shut down. Just like anybody on Maui, I'm sure we were all wondering how we were going to survive when tourism was gone. After all, Maui had one of the highest rate of unemployment during that time. And so I thought, well, hire a local printer. You see online, there's all of these like inexpensive ways to make money or get your stuff printed and they will send it here. And I was like, no, it was very important to hire somebody local. So I did, and I doubled my money. I made $400 that weekend. And I thought, oh my God, people want donut trucker hats. And I was so excited. And more than anything, I was really touched that people supported me and wanted me to reopen. So I had enough money to buy my ingredients and reopened Donut Dynamite on Saturdays. Pickup, curbside. It was great. We were so excited. But more than anything, I was so touched that I thought, what can I do to give back? People seem to have embraced me and are so kind to help me keep going during, the pandemic when everybody else shut down. And I looked around me and had a kitchen. And one thing I realized is that, or I forgot because I made donuts all the time, is that I can cook. And I'm really good at cooking with anything thrown at me. I mean, I even, like as some of you had just heard, I did MasterChef because I was like, oh my God, I can do that. Just give me mystery boxes, right? So I had a few friends who were farmers who started selling CSA boxes. And at the time, there were only a few people who knew what they were. And in fact, most people didn't like buying CSA boxes because they didn't know how to cook with them. So I thought, well, I'm going to teach cooking lessons, how to elevate their home cooking using what we can forage or catch or get from the local farmers. And it was really interesting because that's when I realized that maybe that was my other calling. When you think of a donut, it's a circle. And it's also, the circle to me is also the symbol of sustainability and community. And I thought people embraced me. That's another donut. Like I said, I see donuts everywhere. So I started teaching the cooking classes, and it was some of the most amazing experiences for me when I realized that I wasn't Madame Donut because of just the treats that I made. It was because of my real calling, which is to talk about sustainability, to talk about the other donut. And because people paid attention to me, maybe I can use my platform to educate. Maybe I can even go on TV and talk about Maui and talk about sourcing your ingredients locally. And I've always preferred to use local ingredients but now even more so. So my donuts are usually made with ingredients that are local sourced. The strawberries, the molokai sweet potato. I love ube, you guys. I'm Filipino, but I insist on using molokai sweet potato because this is where we are. And so I always educate people, just because it's purple doesn't mean it's ube. Maybe it's molokai sweet potato. Know your source. So around that time, remember, I told you my mother wasn't cruel enough to call me Madame Donut. She asked me, hey, are you still using your married name? And I was like, no, why should I? I shouldn't. And she's like, don't people call you Madame Donut already anyways on Maui? And I said, yeah. Can I change my name legally? I had to ask my mother first, of course. And she gave me my blessing, her blessing. She thought it was hilarious, and of course, anything to make my mother laugh. So I filed to change my name legally to Madame Donut. It's so much fun. But again, back to what they said, that Maui either embraces you or spits you right out. I have a new saying that, yeah, I'm from the Philippines. Philippines birthed me, but Maui made me who I am today. Thank you so much.